All right, let's answer some questions from Locked On Canes Insiders. This is a good one I wanted to start with from John and Davey, who says, has class of 2026 recruiting, has it gone about how you expected for Miami? If not, what are the big surprises or letdowns to this point? And listen, I know what Miami fans are saying out there, even though I'm on the final week of my marathon trip to Europe. I will be back in exactly 1 week, which will be the same day that the video game comes out. Coincidence? I'm not so sure about that. But, even from all the way across the pond over here in Italy, I hear, in the buzz, and I see what Miami fans are saying. They were so hot at the end of June. You've seen some players trending in other directions, though, early July. So a lot of Miami fans are a little bit down on recruiting. But in the big picture, John, I would say for right now, yes, with Miami trending in the top 10 in class of 2026 recruiting right now, kind of the lower half of that top 10, but in the top 10, that is where I expected the class to be in July. Like, I expected Miami to be trending right about where they are. In terms of surprises, we'll start with the good surprises, pleasant surprises. Landing Jackson Cantwell back in late May was the biggest of those good surprises. A week before his commitment and in the week prior to it, Georgia looked like they had all the momentum. Miami was able to snatch that momentum back. You wouldn't be trending as high as you are right now if you hadn't landed the top prospect in the entire country. Jordan Campbell, who's long been committed to Miami, but him shutting down his recruitment and locking in with Miami, that was another pleasant surprise because his recruitment was wide open for a long time, and I was worried about him flipping away. So Miami locking him down was big. Miami flipping Vance Spafford from Georgia a couple weeks ago, that's probably going to go down as the second most significant win after Cantwell, unless Miami's able to maybe snag a Tristan Keys or something. But the Vance Spafford flip was a huge recruiting dub for Miami. So those are some of the positives. Like, I guess on the letdown side of things, and I think a lot of you would probably agree with this, not having a stronger claim for some of the top local players, Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, not being able to lock down these areas is a little bit disappointing. I'm not even sure if I can blame Miami completely for that. Like, Miami is in Cristobal and his staff because, we talk about this all the time with our recruiting overlord, Brian Smith, he's not a Miami guy, so he keeps this stuff a little more objective. He always says it, like, South Florida prospects are some of the most difficult to cover, and they have a different mentality because some of them just want to leave home. Some of them want to wait till the very last minute, National Signing Day, which we're still like 5 months away from, by the way. But I guess my hope coming out of, top offense in the country last year and 10 wins would be Miami would have an easier time locking down some of the top local players. But we don't really feel like that's the case right now. And, the negative trends, at least we think there have been negative trends for Calvin Russell, who's going to be announcing in 2 days, 5-star receiver out of Miami Northwestern. He's not really expected to pick Miami at this point. With that going on, that's not something I would have expected a few months ago. Like, a few months ago, I would have told you, oh, yeah, Miami's definitely going to find a way to lock down Calvin Russell. His mom went to Miami. She's in the Sports Hall of Fame. Like, how can you not land Russell? But over the past few months, those trends haven't been looking great. We'll see what he decides on July 5th. And so, okay, to put this into perspective on not having an easier time locking down the local players, right now, as things stand July 3rd, Miami literally has 3 times as many verbal commits from Orlando, Florida, as they do from Miami-Dade County, Florida. 3-1 is the ratio. I don't think it's going to finish that way. I think Miami's going to end up having a lot more, players signing from Dade and Broward because, again, sometimes the South Florida recruits end up waiting a little bit longer than players from other parts of the country. So I don't think it's necessarily going to finish that way, but that's where we are in July. 3 times as many players from Orlando committed as players from Miami. And, this ties back to the Calvin Russell thing, but I guess I also would have thought that elite wide receiver recruiting would have been a little bit easier than it is. Miami's worked really hard and they've done well flipping Vance Spafford. Again, big time win. I'm also a big fan of Tyron Evans. But when it comes to like the Calvin Russell recruitment and just how like difficult the Tristan Keys recruitment has been, I know Miami is still in that one. And, some of the other receivers we've seen go in different directions. It's been an uphill climb. So we'll see how Miami can finish there. So